New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, hello, hello. We are here. We are ready. We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natashe Wilson, and like Robyn said, we are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Good morning from Australia.
And good afternoon from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it is hot, hot, hot.
I lived in Albuquerque. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and I just came from California, right? So I checked in with my friends there. They're like, yeah, low of 61, high of 71. I hate you. It's all right. It's okay. Little heat doesn't hurt anybody.
No.
And actually, that leads us into our topic for today. A little heat. It's going to be, our topic today is going to be, tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Most of us remember, I've heard Marvin Gaye's original song, Tell Me What's Going On.
Yeah.
Which is really a plea for consciousness. And so that's what we're going to talk about today with all the things going on in the world. How on earth do they line up metaphysically, and how can they be put into that category of knowing that from this too something good's going to happen? I don't know who's gonna bring those ends up, but we'll see.
Well, something's definitely gonna happen. I'll say that much. Something's already happening.
That's right. That's right. So, how's your week been?
Yeah, my week has been really interesting, Robyn. It's been really interesting. I met the new baby brother of my daughters. Who's a little preemie, and I met him yesterday, and I wish I could show, I probably could, but he is so tiny. Oh my goodness, he's so little. Hang on a second, I just got to show you. And he's perfect. Oh my God. Anyways, I'll pull up the photo, but like I held his little feet and the little thingy, not the incubator, he's out of the incubator, but like I just held his little feet. And I said, welcome to the planet. The ancestors are so happy you're here, baby. You are loved, you are wanted, and you belong right here with us. And oh my God, his eyes opened. And I mean, it was so beautiful. And the biological mother of my daughters wants me to adopt her. It's not the first time she asked me to, which I'm not going to do. And it really melted my heart, and made me a bit sad, because she was like, you're the first grandparent to come and see him. And he's now been on a planet for 6 weeks. So, and he's perfect. He's so perfect.
And it's moments like that that make the rest of the world seem bright, no matter what's going on.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, when I was holding him, because he's so little, and I just got my fresh ink, right? I'm trying to make it all I don't have to make it all line up. I'm just trying to try to explain the sequence. So I'm holding him, And of course, like his mom took photos of me holding him, and his head is just resting in my arms. And she sent me the photos from the hospital when I got home, right? So like, here's the photo of me holding him.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the symbol in the center of my arm is an Adinkra symbol, which means nothing but God. And it is my oldest natural, well, this is the majority of my, or most of my ancestry and DNA comes from the Adinkra people who started in East Africa and then worked their way across West and South. But anyways, but they were matrilineal, or they are matrilineal. So they trace descent through the matriline. And I got home, because you know me, I can't just do a DNA kit. I get the whole thing done. So I even know which Vikings I'm connected to. But I ordered the book.
Oh, wow.
I know. And so that was waiting for me when I got home from the hospital. But when I looked at the photo and his little head was there, and I was like, oh, I just welcomed him from the ancestors. There you see his little head, resting against the Adinkra symbol, which is my oldest matriline. So it just really felt like bridging the ancestral line to the very new little,
Yeah, it made sense. It connected the dots.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, geez, I should have checked in first, because I don't know anything like that. That's like, oh, my week has just been, it's just been a journey of traveling and getting back to New Mexico, being in California. And I don't know, it's like, I don't know, I just become aware of how many hats and things I wear. And so that's all. It's just been that kind of a journey. And I still tend to want to believe that I can organize it and one day have it be workable and, not as crazy making as it sometimes appears to be. But I mean, it was an interesting win. And it's interesting that you talk about birth, because my week was about people passing. And I was in California for 2 memorials, and then a couple of other people passed during the time I was there that will have memorials coming up. And so, interesting, that cycle of letting go and coming into the world. And, for me, the weekend was interesting because it was all people some that I hadn't seen in like over 20 years, because it was they were both agape memorials. So there was just this huge gathering of people in both places, and different people, not all the same people, but people that, I sang in choir with, and we sang, and Ricky played, and it was celebratory. And then I went to the next one, and it was about someone who was a leader at Agape International. And it was beautiful, but it was more, subdued. And I don't know, it was just interesting. But it was so interesting to see people. I mean, because people are coming up to you, and you know who they are, but they're not the way they were. You're like, wait. And they're like, it's Adolfo, or it's so-and-so. And you're like, oh my God. And it was like stepping in. I told Gail, it was like going to a high school reunion, but it was really like stepping into these time portals. And it was interesting because it was just, everything was so normal there. And a friend that we went with that had some issues with, the centers and blah, 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 was like, I feel like I had a healing, So it was like there was a lot moving and happening, and it was just an interesting place to be. And then there was family, which is always interesting.
Yep, I get that one.
And the boys are still teenagers, and they're still interesting. So,
yes,
yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Yes, lots of moving parts.
Yes. But nothing that we can't do without a card pull. So
So you got cards today?
I got cards today.
Okay.
I'm going to pull from our Soulful Woman deck. I am shuffling.
Okay.
And setting, and let's just set an intention for the week. Let's see what it tells us for our upcoming week. And you tell me when.
When? Did you hear? I said when.
Okay. Nope, I didn't hear, but here we go. Sanctuary. Oh gosh. All right. Let's see what it means. Sanctuary. It's kind of dark in here because it's so hot. All right. In my inner sanctuary, I connect to peace, inner quietude, and comfort. And here's the card.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Do you know what intention I said?
No.
Peace.
There you go. Let's see. In sanctuary. Okay, I'm looking for sanctuary.
Yeah.
And there it is. 28. All right. Sanctuary. My inner sanctuary is a place that is both holy and holy. Holy with an H and holy with a WH. Within the center of my being. I visit here throughout my day whenever I want to connect to stillness, inner quietude, and comfort, or when I want to savor gratitude for those things that bring the happiness and fulfillment. The key is to be still and train my attention to come back to my body and find my center, my inner holy land. Sometimes I experience my inner sanctuary within my heart. Other times I find it deep within my belly. And sometimes my inner sanctuary surrounds me like an auric gossamer of energy, wrapping me in cozy cocoon of light. Wherever I find my inner sanctuary, it is the place where infinite possibilities exist. And the card affirmation is, in my inner sanctuary, I connect to peace, inner quietude, and comfort. Okay. I feel like the card is good for today, for today's topic.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I feel like that made me feel complete. You know, like, all right, thank you everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Right. Honestly, my meditation this morning, because I've had a very interesting week, but it's basically ended. My girls just got back to school. I think I told you I missed Alexis's first dance day because I was unwell. So this week was our first week back to like regular school, and today is Friday here, and my girl should be in school. But my daughter has been watching Wednesday Addams, my 8-year-old. I mean, I do all the child things on the iPad, I do all the settings, at least I think I do. And then it's like I'm always behind, right? And then I find out because I get a call from the school, and my daughter has unfolded a paper clip and has decided she didn't want to listen to her teacher. And she took the paper clip and she did this. And so, of course, they hype it up. Because
Right.
that's what
Not in today's world. You don't do that.
Exactly. So they're like, Macy, do you want to hurt yourself? Do you want to kill yourself? Blah, blah, blah. And Macy says, I don't want to be here. So, of course, they call me. I got to go collect her. She's home for a reset day. And, of course, my oldest daughter now wants a reset day. So when Macy and I spoke yesterday, I said, Macy, what's up? She goes, Mom, that's what Wednesday Addams does. You know, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real. I mean, between TV and YouTube, it's real. Our producer would like to say a word.
I like Wednesday Addams, but for a little one to do that, oh my.
I know. We had a full talk. And here's the thing, both my girls are on the spectrum. So TV shows are not just TV shows, right?
Okay.
Like, if they really gravitate towards a show, it's like they're in character. They're in character. Like, even in when they talk to each other and when they talk to me, they're literally just reciting lines from the show together because they know, like, this is one of the ways that their autism like really shows through. And when I asked her if she knew what it meant when she did that, and she said that, she was like, yeah, I know what it means. And I said, do you understand why that worried everybody? She was like, yeah. And I said, is that how you really feel? She was like, no. So I said, Macy, why did you do that? She was like, because that's what Wednesday Addams did.
It's so systemic.
Oh
though.
man.
It's so
What
systemic.
do we do? Do we take all the electronics from them until they're 50?
Well,
Yeah.
honestly, what I did was, well, when I got home, because what she'd been doing was going on my older daughter's Netflix profile. And that's how she was able to watch it. So what I've now needed to do, which this is a new thing I've just learned about. One, I can put on a setting where she stays in junior mode. And so I just put all the kids' profiles in junior mode, all of them, even my oldest. And I know they're not but I said, until I can figure this out, all the profiles are in junior mode. I've found out how you can keep them from making additional profiles, because that's the other thing they do to get around it. They'd make a new profile, right? So I had to figure that piece out. And like, I had to take Safari off the iPad. So no browsing, no YouTube Kids, because even YouTube Kids, right? Like, I just had to like take everything off. Like, they just cannot have those things anymore. Like, and will they one day find a way around it? Probably.
Yeah, they will.
So my brother went ahead and he adopted the whole family of this one mother who kept having babies. And they had like 5. And again, was my brother, his wife, 5, and then the young son. So what you're doing is extremely brave, and I just man, my heart goes out to you, my sister.
I'm all right. And you know what? So are my girls. And thank you. And what are the odds, right? That I have 2 children who I've been raising for 8 years, both on the autism spectrum, and the person who raised them learned she was on the autism spectrum a couple years ago. You know?
Well, I'm going to go back into the background, but I just had to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Well, I also think that this really does go right into our topic, because nowadays there's so many kids on the autism spectrum. I mean, my niece is on the autism spectrum. The boys are not classified as autism spectrum, but it doesn't matter. They have
neurodiverse. Yeah.
There's so many things, and it's real. It is so real that, like, the whole YouTube and TV thing. Like, even I was watching something that was like PG, 13ish, and they were teenagers and all talking about going to have sex and doing all of this stuff, and it's like, really, this is considered okay? Like, how do you just do that? All right, we're going to share. We have someone out there saying, my son is neurodivergent also. And we talk about it like personal responsibility and talk about how he wants to show up in his reality. Not sure if that helps. He does a lot of the same things.
Yeah. I mean, I knew right away, right? Like, this was, the moment she told me Wednesday Addams, and I know, like, I'm telling you, in our household, like, after we went to see Wicked, both times, the first one and the second one, like, we weren't even speaking, like, we were just like using lines, you know what I mean? Like, and I did that growing up, like, and I think I might have told you, to this day, my family, and I only recently learned that what I'm about to say has another meaning, but when my family says it to me and when they said it growing up, they just were, they were just basically saying I'm like an oddball. And I was, right? I was odd, I was the cousin who wasn't outside playing, and my parents go to look for me and I'm in my closet with the light, flashlight reading a book, right? Like, literally surrounded by my clothes, because now I understand, like the sensory piece around that. And like, I still have super sensitive hearing. I can't even be around people eating if I'm not also eating. Like, I can't, like, it does something to me sensorily. But anyways, I'm saying all that to say that the moment she told me it was Wednesday Addams, but she was also trying to express something as well, right? And so what she was trying to express was really, she thought she was going to be in trouble with me. And she realized she hurt her teacher's feelings.
Mm.
And that was underneath the particular Wednesday Addams choice she made to try to express what were really big feelings, because
Right.
she doesn't like knowing, or she struggles when she knows that people are disappointed with her. And she also, she also has ADHD. So there's already that. She has a lot of energy in her body. That's all I think of ADHD is, lots of energy in the body,
Well, and I think that's why what the viewer said, I'm sorry, viewer, I don't know your name. I don't want to call you Sandy Member. Sanya Member. Sanya Membi.
Sanya, maybe
Sanya Membre.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, that was like a game. Okay, no, we're going to call you Sanya. Anyway, but I think that's what's so important about what she's saying, because it's, for us, with teenagers, having had them since they were 3, adopted them when they were 2 and 3, it's a continual journey of really having that conversation about how you want to show up and how it affects other people. And them knowing that they're when they do something affects somebody else, because they're really not seeing that piece in YouTube videos or a TV show or a movie, because it's all scripted.
Yeah.
But they don't think that, especially with YouTube. Oh my God, they think YouTube is all natural. And, yeah,
YouTube is done. Like, it's done. It's done. Because
Good.
The other thing, my child has a hard time controlling impulses. So even though, she may not want to do a thing, and that's what she says, sometimes she can't stop herself.
Right.
And then I'm like, that's okay. That's why I'm here. Right. So until, her brain is still developing. So
Right.
like, my job is just to keep finding out where I need to put the guardrails. And I'm gonna protect you because I love you like more than I knew I could love. Like even saying I'm about to cry. Okay, give me a moment.
Okay, no crying. But when we come back, we're going to continue.
Give me a moment. Give me a moment.
We're going to continue with this topic, and we're going to talk about what's going on, because there's this that we're talking about, and there's so much else going on in the world. It's like, it really just came up for me, Marvin Gaye singing, "Tell me what's going on," because
What's going on?
there is so much happening. So don't go away. Come back and let's talk about real world and what's happening out there and how on earth it could possibly be metaphysical. All right?
All metaphysical. Come back, y'all.
Come back, y'all, right here to New Thought Media Network. See you in a minute.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network. New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Science of Mind Saturday Conversations. Learn more about the Science of Mind philosophy, faith, and way of life. Join our team of experts for a weekly deep dive discussion. Come study the science of mind, chapter by chapter, and resources from the Science of Mind archives. Plan to join us every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on the New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you wanna know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
And we're back. I am Robin Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson. I'm sorry. I still was having a bit of a moment over here. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, we're girls behaving metaphysically.
We're girls behaving metaphysically, which it often includes crying and emoting and the laughing, all kinds of things.
Girls behaving tearfully. Sorry.
It's real. It's real. And today, as we go into our topic of tell me what's going on. So this is just a show about looking into the world and really looking at what's going on. And, you know, when I think about that song, I really think about it as like, you know, a plea for consciousness in a world drowning in, you know, division and confusion and violence and all kinds of things. And so, yeah, we're going to just explore at the core of what's going on. I mean, we on my other show, Rockin' the Love, every week we talk about the good news stories, and which is great. And I don't want to bypass the real, you know, what we're living in this day and age, of feeling all kinds of different emotions, whether that's anger or angst or sorrow or frustration or whatever it is. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you know, because it is, sometimes it's hard, it's challenging to go, okay, God's in the midst of it all, you know, when people are dying and places are blowing up and things that to me seem unnecessary, you know, like unnecessary pain are happening, you know. And yeah, I can reason it all out and go, oh, that's collective fear and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, there is a part of me that still goes, okay, and why am I going through it and what do I have to learn? You know, I get that the world's learning a bigger thing, but do I have to go through it too? Don't I already know? You know, whatever. You know, whatever version of that there is. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a few stories in the news like that just, it really confuses me. I mean, it just happened to be on my homepage or something. A 40-year-old mom who was shot fatally as she threw herself in front of her teenage son that was making a deal on Facebook Marketplace. And some 18-year-old kid had come to buy a watch from him and decided to shoot him to take it instead. And she threw herself in front of him and died. And I'm like, really? For a watch? This is going, I mean, I know it's bigger than a watch, but at the core of it, it's still a watch. You know? And that's just one story. You know, I mean, that's, and I can't even imagine the ones we don't hear about.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, in this part of the world, we have our own, you know, those are like the local stories, you know, like what you just shared. Those are like local stories. I feel like I find that I don't know much about local stories. I pay attention to like international stories, and when I do have to check the news, like that's kind of what I'm checking in about. And I also have a very, I get a curated twice a week media update on all the wonderful things that are actually happening, but because it doesn't activate our anxiety and fear, it's not interesting to the news, right? And I make sure I made it like a religious, spiritual practice to make sure I read those stories thoroughly. And I've been paying attention to how they feel in my body, and they help me. They don't just help me, like they show me that something is happening. Yeah. And I think I said last week that what we're witnessing when we tune into like sort of media, even like independent media, like we're witnessing what's called an extinction burst. You know, the thing is, we've only really studied it as a part of personality disorders. But the fact is, feminists have said a long time the personal is political. And then, you know, that was the white feminist in the second wave, and then the Black feminists and feminists of color in the third wave. And like they say, yeah, and the political is personal. And here we metaphysicians, who also happen to be both scientists and feminists, we say yes, and it's all God, and it's all spiritual. It's all source, all of it. And we know when we direct our consciousness and we focus on what it truly means to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And that becomes a spiritual practice, not just a saying. Because the old systems, they're going through an extinction birth. I know for a lot of people that's scary. And I get it. We're seeing it here in Australia too. We have our version of Donald Trump, who has 1/3 of the Australian population in favor of her and her policies, which want to wipe out trans people and want to wipe out all multiculturalism. 1/3, right? You know, and I'm like, okay, Australia, you want to go down the US path? Okay, fine. You know, whatever. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. That's how I just feel right now. And what I've been sharing with my clients a lot is we got to take wellness to another level. We have to take wellness to the level of spiritual practice and political resistance. Because when this thing implodes, and it is, that's what we're seeing. This system doesn't work. It doesn't. It's not the one we live in, the one we were born in, the one that was created by the wounded parts in the human psyche, which is what we're seeing collectively. It doesn't work. We need to be well enough to build the world we want to see. So wellness takes on a whole nother level. And so I always think about, you know, what if these people, like the person who's, you know, occupying the White House and all those people around them, like, what if, you know, those people had some good early intervention, right? Knew that they mattered and that their worth wasn't in learning or thinking that authentic power was about control or power over other people, right? What if their insecurities weren't projected outward onto whole populations of humans? What if they had secure attachments, right? Like, so all this stuff we do on this individual level, what we're seeing out there is what happens when we believe in the illusion of separation, that somehow this work that we do on an individuated level is not connected to what we see in the world. We know that there's no real separation.
Yes, all of that is very true. And I feel like, though, let's get kitchen table real.
I'm real. Let's do it. I'm at the kitchen table. Let's do it.
I mean, while all of that is true, and I know that, you know, there are aspects of this that are just, I'm going to not do it for you, Michael Mangus. They're effed up. They are, it's bull. It's, you know, like I look at things like the other day on some Fox News kind of show, JD Vance was on, and I don't know the particulars because I too really don't watch the news. Certain things just pop up in my feed and I'm compelled to read them, and then I wish I hadn't. But he was on the show. They were giving him a cake for something, and the guy goes, it was like a pickle cake, and he's like, I was gonna make the cake chocolate fudge, but I thought that would be too gay.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I'm not sure I heard that correct. What?
I was gonna give you chocolate fudge cake, but I thought that might be too gay.
Wait, who said that to who?
The commentator to J.D. Vance, who then laughed hysterically and whatever they said.
J.D. Vance wears eyeliner.
Hello. I know, but I don't want to get into the rumors about who.
Right, go ahead. No, it's not a rumor. He wears eyeliner, but go ahead.
No, there's
a lot of gender affirming care happening in the White House. Go ahead.
But there's a lot of stories about where people have come from and what roles people are playing in people's life, and so is the beard to this one and such. I don't care. Just being able to say that and have that be okay, and for the vice president of the United States to laugh and affirm that. And then there was some other show that he did where there was some other gay slight. There's all kinds. I could quote all kinds of things, but and then I wonder, really, because people have lost their jobs for far less than that.
Oh yeah.
And this administration, I think I've said this before on this show. There's been many presidents or political people that I don't agree with, but I never felt like they weren't representing the whole. I just felt like we had different opinions. You know what I mean? Even when there was a Republican president, might not have been my choice. Could have felt better with somebody else, but I didn't feel like they weren't working for the whole on some level.
Yeah, I sit in a different place around that, but it's interesting for me, to hear this perspective, because I think a lot of people hold this very perspective you just shared, right? There has always been the promise, I think, that is America, and then there's always been the reality that is America. And maybe it's because I've walked through this world looking the way that I look, with the skin that I have and the body that I'm in. I think about that poem, oh God, why is the name of the author? It's escaping me right now, but A Dream Deferred. Langston Hughes, I think. A Dream Deferred, right? And it's a dream that's been deferred from my ancestors who came here.
Yeah.
And when I say here, I'm still in the US, you know what I mean? But it's my ancestors who came to what is now the United States. And the social contract was just broken. I don't even know if it even ever existed. I think there was an attempt we know that there was an attempt after the Civil War ended during Reconstruction. But that fear, that insecurity, and the fear was, if they get free, meaning formerly enslaved people who are called Black, they're going to do to us what we did to them. Right? And that fear has always been too big for too many people to be with, to sit with, to go inward with. And even that whole thing, right? And I'm saying, when you said, people would have been fired for less. And think about the deep, deep insecurity that exists in someone who says that, let alone believes it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that. And yeah, there's so many levels to this. Obviously, there's so many layers of everything. Of whether it's from racism to just uneducatedness to. There's all kinds of different inroads to all of this. And there's a collective, and I guess it's maybe it's not more than ever. Maybe it's exactly the same as it's always been. However, we have so many ways to hear about it and to view it and to feel it and to be part of it, that
I
is
think
going
I
on.
think it's also impacting people who, like, the consequences of this political regime, and not just in the States, but also in places like Argentina and Hungary, and Israel. Like, we are not hearing from a lot of people on the ground in Israel. We hear from whatever. Anyways, so like actual people, like Israeli citizens, we don't hear a lot from those people. We just hear a lot from, okay, I'm just going to leave that there because I just don't want to go down that road. I have my thoughts. But, and I'm sorry, Robin, go ahead, because this isn't new.
No, it's not new.
What's happening is that it's affecting not just the people that it normally impacts. It's now impacting people that have been shielded and protected from the reality that lived alongside of the promise and the myth of the United States. Like, a lot of this like, our eyes, more people are having to be like, and they're reckoning with, oh, this is what those people have been saying all this time, but now it's impacting me.
Yeah, and again, same thing, because we're more aware of other people as opposed to living in a silo that when we didn't hear about what was going on in other countries, and we still don't know what's going on in other countries. We only know the ones that the president is choosing to bomb or threaten or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't know about all the countries and places that we don't hear about and what's going on, but we have become closer based on the media and social media and everything. And we don't have a lot of time, and we really didn't get that deep into it. But going back to the song just for the heck of it, and to even the card that we pulled, which was Sanctuary, I think that all of it in the metaphysical realm is such a call to awareness, and that it's not just what's happening, it's what's the deeper truth beneath what's happening, which is what you're saying, on some level, which is what has been going on, and I think, even in the song, there's part where Marvin Gaye sings about, can we believe that, can we remember that we belong to each other, and that's important. I mean,
Yeah.
And I mean, just at the core of it all too, just thinking about we're hurting each other, and we're forgetting about shared humanity, and drowning in all this conflict and rhetoric, and because the issue isn't really, for me, the issue isn't really if the man in the White House wants to have a UFC fight. It's about being respectful and where he has one. Rent a stadium. Do where a UFC fight should be held. It's like, as opposed to having to always be, on the verge of controversy around every single thing, because we're just drowning in that whole conflict and smoke show, and and anything to keep the Epstein files,
Right. And again, the Epstein files. How long was that? How long has this been going on? How long has child trafficking been happening? Like, how many people have been sounding the alarm? Like, for decades and decades and decades, right? And now, like, just people are having to reckon with the myth that has always, and the reality that's always operated on the side of the myth. But then just to bring it back to being metaphysicians, and also, look, I'm also a scientist, but to me, because I know separation is illusion, there's no separation between being a scientist and being spiritual for me. There just isn't. And when I say God, I'm not talking about some anthropomorphic, invisible man, Santa Claus in the sky person. I'm not, that's not it. That's not it. That's not what we talk about when we talk about God. So bringing it back to that, we know, I think our job, honestly, right now, Robyn, is maybe the essence is like, I think we can find it in Tonglen practice, right? Tonglen is the Buddhist practice where we don't turn away from suffering, but we ground ourselves in our power. And this is why it's practical and kitchen table in this way. We don't turn away from suffering. We take it head on because we know where we are is an anchor, is a location of God. And through the breath, we breathe in the suffering, bring it down to that point of transformation, connection, the God within, the God that we are in, and the God that is in us. We breathe that suffering into that point. And when we release the breath, not because, sometimes people like, breathe in the light, breathe out the pain. Tonglen says it's the opposite because we're the point of God, right? We are one location of God on planet, each and every one of us. And so we breathe it in, the suffering, and we breathe out the peace. We breathe out the light. We're breathing out a thing that has now been transformed because it's gone through that God point that is us. And we can only do that if we're conscious, if we're willing to not turn away. The issue that I see, one, in the West, the way we're socialized in the West, is to just think about ourselves as individuals. Right? And so until it affects an individual, do we then say, oh, wait, this has been happening all along. This didn't just spring up. I heard about the thing the UFC fighter said about Michelle Obama, right? Like, that's such an old, lazy trope that's been around, right? Was used to justify harming Black women, right? Like, this isn't new.
Yeah, I don't think it's about it being new. I mean, I really, yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point and a great practice. And I really think, right now, again, it's not that it's new, which is why I think we're experiencing such a spiritual exhaustion of the collective, because it's not new, and what we need to remember and stand in and sit in is that, truly these moments of courage and knowingness and steadfastness that will break us through on some level to the other side and translate the world's noise into like a soul level of understanding and being able to anchor all the things you're talking about, those places of peace and those places of knowingness amidst the seeming chaos. And so that is why we say, stay in your sanctuary, find your sanctuary this week and always.
Can I share one thing?
I don't know. Michael Mangs is going to cut you off. It's time to go. And that was my closing.
Oh, Well, I wanted to share one good news story.
Okay.
That's all.
Go ahead.
I think this is what we also have to do. We have to go on the hunt for what's beautiful, right? And this is a little one. French Polynesia announced a massive new marine protected area, one of the largest ocean conservation actions undertaken. It is the size of France. Right? There is a lot of beauty happening in the world, but that isn't going, you got to go. So literally, I use positive news. If y'all want it, there's like positive news and good green news. Like I purposely,
We got it.
Practice.
Yeah, we got it. That's why we do it on our show. The good news, time for the good news, because there's a lot of it going on. There's a lot of it going on, and we have to remember it. And you out there, remember that you are the carriers of good news. So spread it around. And we'll see you next week.
Be a point of God on the planet.
Yep.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.